I want to segue into this topic too, since I think Nate really kind of illustrated this. This is one of my topics, and it's the topic of, I know y'all seen the movie The Matrix. I want to ask you guys, what in your mind do you believe The Matrix is? What is that? What concept is that to you?
I'm living right now.
But what, explain it.
Well, like, you know, we have to work for money. That's a created thing. I mean, it's actually meaningless, really, if you think about it. We have to work for that so that we can provide for our kids, so that we can afford a college we're said that they have to go to, so that they can afford the clothes that the media tells them they need to wear. You know, I mean, we're literally living the Matrix, but the fact of the matter is that if you give good and you try and make people's day a little brighter and all that stuff within that system, then you're breaking the Matrix, in my opinion. Me trying to...
Wrong, next.
No, I mean, like, me trying to teach the next generation to question authority. Like, my kids question me all the time, and I embrace it. I want them to question me. I want them to know why I want them to do it. I explain to them like they're a grown-ass person. This is what's going on. This is why. You know, I've talked about it before, and one day they'll get it. Right now, you know, it's just tiring. Yeah. But that's how I break the Matrix. That's how I'm my own Neo, you know? But in my opinion, we're pretty much living it.
T, what you think?
I think you got it right as far as like the challenging authority. I mean, if we're going based off of kind of the concept of the film, that was pretty much what it was all about, is, oh, machines are controlling us. And, you know, the whole concept at this point is, instead of it being post-apocalyptic machines, it's just the government or the media who's working with the government, or the media doing their own thing outside of the government, or whoever has the most money, using all the power that they have and gaining more power. I think that is what the Matrix is, you know, it's the same for everyone who doesn't have a certain amount of money. And for the people that do, it changes and it gets easier for them, or it gets better for them, and then it's the same, if not harder, for all of us. So I would say that's what I would consider the Matrix. Just
yeah, that's wrong. That's fucking wrong.
So what is the Matrix?
Yeah, I'm sorry, the anarchist. What's the Matrix?
See, you be moving the mic, you know.
Fuck you.
That's the Matrix right there. Disruption.
You feel me? Yeah, man. All right, I'm about to give y'all a very radical.
See, now it's peaking, so I'm gonna pull this back.
All right, I'm about to give y'all
my edits. Go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna give y'all a very, very radical interpretation of the Matrix, because I find a lot of people watch the film, which is a very good film, by the way. Shout out to the Wachowskis.
The Wachowski.
Yeah, shout out to those
or twins,
brother and sister.
Well,
one is transgender.
They both were, or are. Yeah, it's.
And when he made the film, he was still considering himself a man. So
now he's a female. So
well, we understand.
No, I mean the other brother also became transgender.
Yeah,
so they're now both sisters.
Dang, I thought one stayed, but all right. Anyway, got way off track of that.
Yeah, I know that's a complicated thing, but I wanted to. That is the process.
Anyway, they made a good film. But as far as interpreting, I find a lot of people interpret it just exactly the way y'all do it, as more symbolic of what we go through and sort of the struggles that we go through. But what if? I got my Eureka hand up. Yeah. What if it's literally a Matrix? Now follow me on this. When I say literally a Matrix, what if? And I know you've never thought about this, because we're not deep thinkers here. What if this reality that you claim was real, just like Neo was in a reality that he thought was real, is actually not real? And now,
I thought that a million times.
Really? Yeah, that's crossed your mind. A million times
everyone
too.
Thinks, what if this isn't real,
like,
or what if?
I remember when I was talking to my cousin one time, and she came up with a concept that blew my mind, and like I still think about it today. If dreams, like you died a long time ago and you just dream everything, like when you wake up, and deja vu, it explains deja vu, it explains, like, you know, sometimes dreams are so real, you think that, you know, it explains a lot of stuff, and it made a lot of sense. But like, I'm at the age now where like if I think about this shit, my head hurts, man. Yeah, like, dude, I don't got time to think about it.
Well,
you know, like
fucked up. I'm about to bring some receipts in this bitch. You ready? All right. Now the reason I say that is why this Matrix may not be reality is because of a man named, and I want everybody to look this guy up. He's got a very incredible book. A man named Michael Talbot, Talbot. Michael Talbot wrote a very interesting book, and he's a scholar. I forget what school, but you know, he teaches that and goes to whatever. But he put out an interesting book called The Holographic Universe. Extremely interesting. He puts forth this theory that he kind of in the book proves over and over again. I'm gonna show you how a little bit, but I really want y'all to read this book. He says that this universe that we live in, this world that we live in, is actually, the components of it resemble what we know and call a hologram. He says and this is kind of his theory. I'm not him, so I can't really articulate the way he does. But he says to call something real in reality, it absolutely has to be unchangeable. Absolutely. If something dies, it's really not real. That's his theory, and the way he backs this up is, this is one of the things that I thought was most interesting about his book. And it goes into what a lot of us know on the surface level, but really can't understand why it works. A lot of people believe in what we call the law of attraction, which is that, years ago that could have been something, oh, that's so fucking stupid. You think you're about to attract something with your mind. Now it's really an acceptable thing. But he does studies where they take 5 soldiers and put them in the desert, right? And they walk them a certain amount of distance, say like a mile, right?
Yeah.
But they don't tell them that they're walking a mile. They tell one soldier, okay, you just walked about, this many. You walked about 2 miles. They tell this one you walked half a mile. Now you walk this and that.
Placebo sort of thing.
Yeah, the placebo effect. And they say each one of the soldiers, their body don't react to the reality of the distance that they've actually walked.
Yeah, mind over matter.
Yeah, their reality reacts to what they've been told. So in his book, he's saying, actually what happens is, you actually do shape your reality with your mind, and you're constructing this fake phony reality with your mind. And he also lands to that part of what you actually see is not what you see, because our minds actually compute what we think we're seeing. This is not what you want to call it.
It's not reality, it's perception.
Right. Things aren't, the color black isn't really the color black.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just how I perceive that color, right? Or red or blue or any other color.
I mean, that makes sense because, like, when you have kids, you're teaching them everything. Like,
You say this is what this
right,
is.
like my oldest, started calling a monkey a haha. And I'm like, no, that's a monkey. Well, why can't it be a haha? Why can't it be? So, like, yeah, I get what, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like words changing as well. Words change over time, which is why we have words that was like, why is it spelled that way? It's because they used to be pronounced. Like, knee used to be pronounced knee, and then they changed it, and now it's knee, but you still have the K on there.
Got you. So yeah, I thought it was real interesting. He goes in this book a lot of stuff on how this reality is more so a construct of the mind, but I guess it's more of a spiritual thing where he says, okay, even though this reality is sort of a reality that is unreal, but it is because you believe it's real, and it's mind over matter. You see what I'm saying?
It's at least somewhat tangible in a sense. Yeah.
Right. You have senses.
Yeah.
So you think you're touching stuff. You can feel it.
Yeah.
So, I thought it was interesting. Your thoughts on this?
That's definitely an interesting concept, and it definitely lends to a lot of different things I've heard before.
Now, think about what you just heard and kind of now think about the movie. Because to me, the Wachowski brothers, in all actuality, are occultists. You see what I'm saying? They study in the occult.
And why is that? Like what makes you say that exactly?
I seen an interview with one of the Wachowski brothers, and he said something about studying one Gnosticism. Which is actually where the whole concept of the Matrix comes from, because the Gnostic religion, which is, we talked about this before, pre-Christianity, they believe this. They believe that our spirits are in a reality that isn't real. That's in that religion, the Catholic Church got that the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So he said he reads Gnostic books from the ancient Gnostic religion, and also what was more interesting, he said he studies Aleister Crowley.
Okay, that's interesting. I mean, like you were saying, as far as like the hologram idea and the placebo effect, there's stuff I've heard before where, like you mentioned, where you tell someone they're doing this and their body believes it because that's what they think. It's the same with like food. Like there's a study where it was like people were told like if you eat this, it's healthier, but everyone's eating the same thing, and the people who thought it was healthier lost weight just because it was a mental thing. So that's definitely an element where we lack, for the most part, people tend to lack that sort of control where it's like, you can think to a certain element, but it becomes that weird idea of once you know that you can think it, it's hard to just think it and make it true. You almost have to be tricked for it to work, because once you know it's mind over matter, it's that weird concept of, I know I can control it, but then you lose that control because it's subconscious control rather than conscious.
Just to piggyback off what you said, that's interesting off what you said, because to really understand this, what you have to understand is the 2 parts of your brain, conscious and unconscious.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Just because you consciously know something doesn't mean it's a core belief, or doesn't mean it's in your unconscious. For example, I've seen a video on YouTube, and a lot of people have seen this video, of a fucking young girl who was barking around, I guess grew up with dogs or some shit, walking around acting like a fucking dog. And she had this shit down pat more than the dogs. I'm like, what? Because she grew up in that environment, so she has a core belief, I'm a fucking dog, woof woof, motherfucker. So that's her reality. She's a dog. Can't tell her shit. But I bring that up to say that's why all of my arguments are fact. Because y'all seeing stuff from a different, older reality. You see what I'm saying?
Well, conspiracies aren't
But
new.
yeah, conspiracies aren't new, and you know what? I'm happy with whatever the fuck this is. Be it the Matrix, be it whatever. Like,
but what if
I'm
you try to
genuinely
controlled? Like think about the movie The Matrix. Like, you know
what?
Who was
At this
the name of
point-
the guy that went back into the Matrix? What was his name? And he was like, look, I know it's all bullshit. But I want to go back. I just want to live in it. I'm tired of eating oatmeal.
From the first movie.
I'm tired of knowing the truth. Hey, whoa! I'm tired of knowing it.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. Is like at this point, like ignorance is bliss. Like I've figured out what makes me happy. I've figured out what I feel like I can do to help society and help make people woke. I don't fucking know, but like the bottom line is that I love my kids. I love my wife. I enjoy being around them. To do that, I have to fucking work my ass off. I have to, quote unquote, be a part of this society, and that's that. Like that's how I take my blue pill, I guess. You know what I mean? Like that's how I am able to survive. Like I know there's fucked up shit. We have a billionaire who's accused of money laundering, who has said I'll grab women by the pussies, who has openly been racist, who has threatened nuclear war over a tweet, be the president of the United States. You know what? I ain't got time for that shit, man. My oldest has got an MRI appointment. My second oldest is becoming a little girl, got her first haircut the other day. Like, fuck all the other bullshit, man. Like, I'm gonna enjoy whatever the fuck this is. My life, the Matrix, me as a hologram, me dreaming, like, and if I wake up on the other side and I'm worthy of whatever I believe in, then that's great. If that's how it continues, I don't know. But right now, I'm in the moment and I'm enjoying it. Fuck all the other bullshit. That's what I feel.